Hello everybody, welcome to today's video where I will be reviewing and analyzing, you guessed it, chapter 137 of Attack on Titan. I cannot believe we only have 2 chapters left after this. Anyone else have no idea what they're gonna do with their life when it's over? I knew something game-changing was gonna happen this chapter, but I definitely didn't predict that the past Titan shifters were gonna come back into their bodies. I did have a feeling that Zeke was gonna help in some way, and I'm really happy to see how it played out. This chapter was beautiful as always. It was artistically and emotionally moving. There was a perfect balance between dialogue and action. I've seen that this chapter is getting a lot of hate from like the dude bro Eren stans, but I really liked this chapter and I'm gonna talk about it, so let's go. We open up with this strange prehistoric looking world with this weird Titan spine thing, which actually looks like the same shape as Eren's final Titan form. It looks like more than one of these spine things exists within this weird world that we're seeing. It also reminds me of the second season opening where Zeke's Beast Titan is running with the dinosaurs and other animals. We were all really confused about that at the time, but maybe this is what connects it. So Zeke is building a sandcastle as he explains his own philosophy of life to Armin. I tried to see if he was building a particular structure that we know, but I think it's more symbolic of how he never really had a childhood. He's telling Armin that the only purpose for life is to multiply. According to Zeke, this spine thing is actually life, and through him we learn that the origin of the Titan abilities is just simply life trying to multiply. Multiplying, adapting, and creating more life is something that happens innately between species, and this is exactly what happened when the Titan spine merged with Ymir. Him and Armin talk about the founder Ymir and how she was escaping fear and death, which resulted in the creation of an undying body and a world where neither life nor death exists. They tried to decipher what she could possibly want, and I myself have been having a lot of trouble understanding her motives. Despite being horribly abused and having the power to end it, she obeyed the king for 2,000 years, even after she died. She went with Eren because she was attached to the world she left behind, even though that world was never kind to her. What I'm confused about is if she was still attached to the world, then why would she go along with the rumbling in the first place, and why would she try to stop the alliance? We really don't know her motives at this point. Zeke has totally given up on trying to get out of paths and feels like there's no real reason to fight fear if we all die anyways. But he said this to Armin of all people, the one who symbolizes hope within Attack on Titan. Armin pulls a leaf from the sand, which reminds him of his childhood, of happy moments with Mikasa and Eren. He remembers a time when they were all together and at relative peace. Even if it was as trivial as walking through a market, it meant something to him. He explains to Zeke that there really doesn't have to be some big reason to be alive, but whatever small thing brings you joy is actually what makes life worth living. For some reason, this moment hit me really hard. I don't know whether it was a message that I really needed to hear at the moment, but seeing Armin and everybody so happy and carefree just made me really emotional. This concept that Armin is explaining is something that Eren never really understood. He thought they were living in a false peace and he always saw the bigger picture. But Zeke is starting to understand what Armin is saying as the leaf appears as a baseball to him. It triggers his own desire to live. I love that Armin says "to my eyes" here because they're both seeing different things. Actually, I kind of believe that Eren put this there for some reason. He's the only one who would know exactly what to put in front of each of them to make them understand each other. I suppose Armin could have manifested it or Ymir could have put it there, but I really can't say for sure because I feel like both Eren and Ymir's true motives haven't been revealed yet, so it's really hard to tell who is controlling what. For example, all the old Titan shifters that we know appeared behind them, and at first I thought it was Eren who resurrected the Titan shifters that we know to fight the Titan shifters that Ymir sent, the Titan shifters that the Alliance has been fighting all this time. But Ymir was in the background as they all gathered. She was watching them, and she could have been the one who released Zeke from paths. I wonder if she was initially going along with Eren's plan but then changed her mind, or if this was part of their plan all along. So going back to the fight outside, we see yet again how dire the situation has become. Jean is struggling, Peak got her hand cut off again, Reiner and Annie are overwhelmed by Titans, but Bertholdt's colossal Titan shows up and saves her. Honestly, this was a really cute moment and connection for these two. His feelings are still there, even in the afterlife. Porco, Marcel, and Ymir show up, as well as Kruger, Grisha, and Zeke's mentor, Xaver. I don't know if that's really how you pronounce his name, but they're all working together, and you can see Kruger's signature move in the background because I guess that's the only move he knows how to do. too. I was really happy to finally see a peak reaction to Porco, and Reiner had a moment with Ymir as well. It was all just coming full circle, kind of. Honestly, you can tell the manga is coming to a close because all of these characters are coming back, like showing Erwin and Sasha in the afterlife. Isayama is rounding off all these storylines by giving them one last moment or interaction, and I love it. Gabby uses this moment of distraction to get a clean shot of the Okapi, and the girl literally never misses. Also, I can't help but point out how cute Levi and Gabby are here. In another life, Levi would have been a great dad. Mikasa goes after the Okapi as well and says, "Give Armin back," which totally reminds me of when she had a face-off with the female Titan. She cuts the mouth off the Titan, and it's kind of another full circle moment because when she was fighting the female Titan, she had Levi with her who did most of the cutting. But now she's all grown up and everything's different except the fact that she's still fighting to get her friends back. Armin flies out and has his own little moment of strength before Annie catches him and totally oogles over him. He says that Zeke woke everyone up out of paths where life and death don't exist. This could also explain why Hanji woke up and saw everyone because Ymir created this place where every Eldian is connected. But I still have to wonder how Zeke suddenly got the power to be able to do this. Did Ymir grant it this power? Did Armin's speech totally power him up? I don't know, and I don't know when we will find out, but I hope we do soon because there's only 2 chapters left. Armin says that Ymir wants something from them, and I've been racking my brain trying to figure out what that could be. At this point, I really just need a chapter of her and Eren's point of view. So Zeke, looking like a wart, calls out to Levi. He must have known that these were gonna be his final moments. As he predicted, he actually did look quite relieved and at peace. This panel and his expression reminded me a lot of Child Eren in chapter 131 when we see him embracing freedom above the clouds. Earlier in the chapter, Zeke equated freedom to death, which is exactly what Eren was reveling in. Zeke accepted his fear and his fate right before Levi cut his head off. He gave up on his dream and died. His death happened so quickly, I actually thought Levi would have talked to him first before it happened, but this really makes more sense. After all this time of holding back from killing Zeke, he just had to do it without thinking anymore. Part of me also forgot that they hypothesized that killing Zeke would stop the rumbling, but it actually did. Levi stopped the rumbling. I'm glad that Isayama gave that to him. He really deserves this win after everything he's been through. I wonder what's going through his head after finally fulfilling his promise, because to me, he looks utterly shocked, like he can't believe he's finally done it. So the rumbling stops and Jean pulls the trigger on Eren's neck, calling him a suicidal blockhead, which is another full circle moment. You can tell how much pain he's in when he does this, but at the same time, he no longer hesitates. I do find it strange, however, that Eren's Titan has not had any sort of reaction this entire time, which is why I don't know if he's in full control. Like Gabby predicted, the spine came out of Eren's body again, trying to reattach his head, but not before Reiner tackled it. So basically, Reiner might finally achieve his own wish to rest as well. Maybe Reiner's freedom can only be found in death, which is a sentiment that I don't really agree with, but it goes with what Zeke was saying earlier. He also doesn't know that his mother is out there watching him right now. Speaking of the Marleyans, we also didn't see the result of what happened when Annie's dad tried to talk to them. I'm a bit worried about that. Connie says that Armin is gonna transform, which means that despite stopping the rumbling, they're still gonna use their last resort. I loved seeing Mikasa console or holding on to Levi in this panel. I really wish we got more Mikasa and Levi interactions since they literally are family. They're the last of the Ackermans. I also want to point out how cute Peek and Jean have been these past few chapters, which is funny because he's actually had a thing against her ever since she took Reiner away in season 3. But each of these forming relationships just show how everyone's understanding and perspectives have shifted. It's more and more obvious with each chapter, especially here when we see this panel with all of the Titan shifters together, since every one of them could hold something against the other. All 3 Jaw Titans together, the Colossal Titan holding on to everyone, the Attack Titans guarding the sides, the previous Beast Titan holding on to little tiny Armin. It's really such a cool panel and shows how everybody's fighting their common enemy. If these Titan shifters really did come back to life, I don't have faith that they're gonna survive Armin's transformation. It's pretty sad that Ymir never got to see Historia again. Finally, the last panel shows Mikasa and the rest of them watching as Armin transforms, saying what he thinks is his final goodbye to Eren. And there we have it, folks. Another emotionally devastating chapter. I really don't know how much more I can take. But anyways, I definitely have a lot of theories and questions after this chapter, but I'm gonna save them for a separate video, so stay tuned for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it this far, comment the snowflake emoji, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!